Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you, Lord, and ask for your wisdom and your blessing upon this meeting, Father. Give us hearts of service to you as we work doing the business of the constituency, Hendry County, Lord. And we ask, Lord, that those that are out there serving in our military, we ask, Lord, that you keep them safe as they stand in harm's way. We ask, Lord, you bless our emergency services and keep them safe as well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
This is a regular meeting of the Hendry County Board of County Commissioners being held Tuesday, August 13th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the City Commission Chambers in Clewiston, Florida. In attendance are Chairperson Emma Bird, Vice Chair Mitchell Wills, Commissioner Emery Howard, Commissioner Raymond Iglesias, Commissioner Carson Turner, County Attorney Matt Rollerson, County Administrator Jennifer Davis, and Deputy Clerk Sharon Congleton.
Thank you. Welcome to the Henry County Board of County Commissioners. If you have a device, we're going to ask that you put it on vibrate for us, please. And if you want to speak, please fill out a card and give it to the clerk. First thing up is bids.
Madam Chair? I
Yes.
just want to ask staff, did they have any problem? Y'all like the ranking? Go with ADG, we're ready to go. I make a motion to approve ADG Architecture LLC, and to engage in a contract, to negotiate a contract to be brought back to the board at a later date for the Harlem Academy facility.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Iglesias. I am so excited. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm very excited about that. It's been a long time coming. I appreciate everyone that had their footprint in it. And I'm pretty sure the community will be happy when they see the forthcoming. So thank you. On the agenda,
Consent?
I'm sorry, yes.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Iglesias, second by Commissioner Turner. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion stands. At this time, we are in our award ceremony. We have a gentleman here. I've been knowing him a long time. He's been in the county for 25 years. If I would have to say something, I say, yeah, mine. That's what I would say to him. We're going to ask Amos to come to the front, if he will, to accept his award for 25 years of service. 25 years of not breaking his oath. 25 years. A lot of people don't know when certain people work in certain places, it keep your community clean and safe. And he take pride in what he do, and I'm so appreciative. There was other jets that was there before him, and I worked with them, but behind him, we have had so much positive impact. He's very respected there, so I want you to know I appreciate you, not as a commissioner, but as a person that lives in the community. So I say thank you for your 25 years of service, and it'd be robbery for me not to allow Commissioner Wells or the rest of them to speak on your behalf that love you so dearly. They let me know when I came aboard, hey, Ms. Bird, now we love Amos, but they didn't know I loved you too. Commissioner.
Yeah, I had the privilege of working with Amos for 18 years. Amos is definitely a major pillar in the community. It's always a pleasure. I've run him off the lawnmower with the truck a few times. It was incredible. Every time I come around, I always try to make sure, and that's what I always got, that smile. And Amos, I love you and I appreciate you. You're a brother in Christ. Been an excellent employee for Hendry County, and it's just a pleasure to know you and to get to be here tonight to celebrate you.
And we want you to know we appreciate you. You see, I said amen.
I'm used to that.
So we appreciate you, and we like to present this award to you along with these duffel bags. And if you would want to handle these, it would be nice if Alan came over with
With the
it.
speech, Amos?
Alan, we're gonna call you out. I'm sorry, you don't have a choice.
And you can at least come take a picture. I mean, Amos, we're sorry, but you're gonna have to take a picture without
How
me.
about this guy?
If y'all would slide over in the middle for me, Amos, if you'll hold that. Okay.
Congratulations, Amy.
Congratulations.
remiss, that day off we're giving you, you can take that whenever you retire.
Yeah, man, there you go.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much. Amos take pride in what he do. That's why it's so easy to love on him. Appreciate him for what he do and those that work with him. Thank you again, Amos. I knew you have to deal with Alan, but it's all right. It's all right.
Time to leave, you don't wanna make a speech?
Thank you so much. Let me see where we at now. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public wishes to speak at this time, we are going to Old Florida CDD. Let me
Madam
get-
Chair, I
okay.
make a motion to rescind the ordinance
sorry.
for the, and dissolve the Old Florida Community Development District.
And Chair, County Attorney Matt Rogers, for the record, this is, the CDD's been declared inactive. The developer no longer want to pursue the CDD. So when we got the declaration from the state, really the statute requires us at that point to dissolve it by ordinance because it was created by ordinance.
Okay.
Commissioner, was that a motion?
Yes, sir.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Iglesias. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public wishes to speak at this time? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion stands. Thank you so much. At this time, Mr. Matt? We are doing, no, it's Ryan, I'm sorry. Impact fee. So just for some clarification, when we do allow you to speak, we're gonna give you 5 minutes instead of 3. We ask you to be respectful of that time.
Madam Chair, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask again the board to allow anyone wanting to speak about the impact fees to give them more time. It's 6:06. We've got, I feel like we're running through this meeting where we have time, but I'm just gonna put that out there.
If I give any more, I won't go over 10 minutes. I think that we need to minimize things that we need to say and put them, so I will do the 10,
I appreciate
but
that.
I won't do any more than that. But thank you for asking. Ryan?
All right, good evening. For the record, Ryan Alexander, Director of Planning and Community Development. So I wanted to talk about one thing, and then we can go through. The slides are essentially the same as we had last time, except that I added one additional slide to the second slide here shows the board indicated or was moving towards adopting EMS, corrections, and law enforcement at a higher percentage. So this one adjusts the schools and the transportation percentages by 25, 35, 45, 50, but leaves EMS, correction, and law enforcement at 100%. And then you could go back on the next slide and we can see them all at 100%, 50%. So it just gives a couple more numbers as we talk through it tonight. One thing, so I wanted to state that the impact fee study that we adopted in June was based on current data that we provided to Banesh. It was recent localized data that we collected. It meets the intent of the Florida statute in the fact that it is within 4 years of us adopting the impact fee. And it's really just a snapshot that they took in time of Hendry County and the growth that we've had. And so in 2022, that's what they provided. And that's what calculated the level of service. And that level of service was used to indicate how much of an impact each individual home would have when they come, or permit would have when it comes into Hendry County. So the easiest way to look at it is one residential permit equals students, road trips, law enforcement, correctional facility space, EMS coverage that will be initially consumed or utilized by the resident. It's not enumerated. The level of service isn't based on past growth or future projections. It's based on that snapshot that I mentioned earlier. The data that we presented was reasonably connected to and proportional to the capital facilities and the needs that we have with them. And something that's also unique about impact fees is that they are directly proportional to the growth that you have. So if we have a lot of growth, we'll bring in a lot of impact fees, but we also require a lot more facilities. Whereas if we have low growth and we're not bringing a lot of impact fees, we won't have as much need for growth in facilities. So it regulates itself that way. The Florida impact fee does look at extraordinary circumstances. In some cases, we're not looking at that. We're just basing this on new growth, and that's what our impact fees will be moving forward as. So with that said, I put up these slides with our master fee schedule, and just tonight, really, if we could work through the adoption percentages. so that the county attorney and Felicia and myself can go through and finalize the ordinance for the next adoption hearing.
However, I'd just like to say, you're not necessarily making, you're not making, you don't have to, you're not making that decision tonight. I mean, you can talk through it, you can, I guess you could, right, Matt?
We're not, the decision's gonna be made at the public hearing at the next meeting, scheduled for the next meeting. So you can discuss it and you can provide staff direction, but no vote will be taken on that tonight.
Okay. Thank you. Are you finished? At this time, those from the public wishes to speak at this time, you may do so. Kelvin? And Ms. Hill, you'll step up after him, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Please state your name for me.
For the record, Kevin Berth, owner and general manager with Heartland Homes. Sent you guys a lot of information over the last week to 2 weeks since our last meeting, both the staff and the board. Lots of questions that were in there, things to consider, things to ponder, market. With that said, I really haven't gotten a reply to any questions, and maybe I'm not supposed to. Just a quick recap on what some of those questions were. Have the funds from the state been incorporated into the school impact fee portion of the study? Have the work plan reports filed by the Hendry County School Board, which don't show growth for students, were these incorporated into the school impact study? Income levels for buyers of new homes at $240,000 currently need to make an income of $75,000 a year. The U.S. median average, which I've provided you guys for a home, is $389,000. To be able to buy that home, you need to earn $127,000 today. Road impact fees, they're based on trip generation rates and the cost to build a road. As a large portion of the roads may not be under Hendry County's control, but they are by other taxing districts. Any modifications to those roads won't receive any benefit. However, that's where the residential homes are probably going to become. Port LaBelle, Montoura. Has the cross-county agreement between Glades and Hendry been accounted for? EMS, law enforcement, schools, all of those things cross over counties from one side to the other, providing services predominantly from Hendry to Glades. Has that been incorporated into what that study should be and how the fees were calculated? What roads are planned to be modified, built, expanded due to our growth? That plan should already have be in place in accordance with having an impact fee study done, and it very well may be. A new school may be warranted, but the school work plans and the student population do not show a growth rate to warrant the fee. Not that I'm against a school, certainly need it. You guys know I support the school heavily on both sides, both Glades and in Hendry. However, when you're looking at growth, pointed out in our last meeting, there's actually a negative growth potentially over the next 3 years just based upon students moving from one class type to another. The final questions really to be answered are simple. Is Hendry County in a high growth state? Will the impact fees to be imposed be used for those who are paying the fee, the nexus rule? Is the computation of the impact fees amounts to be assessed accurate and fair? Have all credits been provided for other sources of income? You know, that relates back to, has the state funds been incorporated? A little bit about general market conditions. Sales for Heartland. Generally, a little more information than I would put in a public hearing. I'm at 40 for the year. 40. I'm over 50% of those homes are currently under construction. which means 20 of my customers are buying what I've already had out there, and another customer is canceled on due to interest rates, due to change in mind, due to the economic factors, cost of things that we all purchase and buy. My cancellation rate this year is at about 60%. So I've sold and written more contracts than that. But due to, again, changing interest rates, economic times, right? Different things have occurred. So the cost of an impact fee just adds another weight. Not necessarily to the builder. We're going to pass it on. We have to, right? Everybody thinks a builder makes a ton of money. I'm sure Mr. Carson can tell you that we don't. He's just in a different level of construction industry. So in a real simple world, $18,000 impact fee will add about $216 a month to a monthly payment for a homeowner. It's about $12 for every $1,000 of mortgage that you borrow. A $10,000 fee, $120. A $5,000 fee, $60. And obviously you can do the math from there. And the fees will be passed on the consumer. No builder is going to look to absorb them. Heartland Homes and several other builders have standing inventory. Both the days on market for resales has increased. More homes are waiting longer to be sold. Same thing with all of the builders. If you think we're not pulling permits because we don't want to, we're not. We're not pulling permits and or not picking permits up, which is the case for some builders, because we've got product to sell. And until our inventory goes down, it's difficult to put more capital into the ground until we can turn that capital over. Of the sales that we have had this year, we've gotten those by offering a 5.25% interest rate. Over half of my sales are at that rate. That's the only way we can keep the sales volume up. And that sales volume is roughly 4 or 5 a month. I've provided some information in the past week from surrounding counties, Lee, Charlotte, Collier. Those were on recorded deeds. As you guys saw in those reports done by LSI, not by me, you saw upwards of 10% declines, 19% declines from 2022 to 2023, 10% declines in recorded valuation of deeds in 2024. Anybody can go get that study, just register it. It's a great economic indicator. So what has Hendry County seen? What's the recorded deeds in Hendry County thus far this year? I'm guessing it's declined as well. I'm not closing as many homes, and I'm sure other builders aren't as well. So I've given you 2 handout sheets. The first one is from Banesh. It's a study that they did on school impact fees in July of 23. It lists permits on one side, permits pulled in all of the counties across the bottom. The copy might be a little tough to read, but all of the yellow highlights are all the surrounding counties, the same ones that were presented in the very first study. The red dot is Hendry County. And if you'll see that all of the yellow dots on that report are counties that have an impact fee. All the green dots do not. There isn't a county out there that has an impact fee where they're not at or above 2,000 permits a year. What has Hendry County's best year been? Do we really have high impact growth? The second one I'm showing you is a 20-year look back on interest rates. And that's created the boom that we were fortunate to see, both as a county, as builders, resale market, real estate. Having the lowest interest rates for a 2-year period created the boom in the 700 permits that we've seen come through. Those 2 issues and those 2 items, right, combined, right, should we be looking at an impact fee? Is it the right time for the impact fee when it appears we're purely off of an anomaly with growth over a 2-year period? I know the study happenstance happened to be done on the same period of time, but we already know permits are down. I've shared all of you with that information as well. We're over 50, 60% off of the mark as to what we were doing in the previous years.
Yeah,
with the-
1 minute.
With that, I'll close, because I knew I had short time. But I got more than I planned. Just one final statement. What will the impact fee do to attract new residents, new commercial businesses to Hendry County at any level? Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin, I got a couple of questions for you. The 40 homes that you've sold this year is through what period, through when, till here today?
That's through July. That's net after my cancellations.
Your buy-down rate, you said it's 5.27?
5.25.
What's that costing you?
Plead the fifth. It's massive. Upwards of 20, anywhere between $18,000 to $25,000, depending upon the loan size.
And that's what, that's a loss to you.
It is a pure, this is the decision. I would rather turn the home over and pull my capital back in and make nothing than to have a home sit. So I'm doing it as a benefit to my consumer.
You mentioned 60% cancellation rate. Explain how that works. They commit to you to build a house or to buy a house.
Correct.
So are you having a cancellation rate on a build? That they can't opt out of that, can they?
I've already, yeah, I don't hold anybody's feet to the fire. So, you know, this county is way too small. I take enough social media bath as it is. I don't hold anybody's earnest money. I've never held anybody to, right? D.R. Horton will tell you your $5,000's gone. I don't do that. I will not do that. I've had a guy call me at 9 o'clock, closing at 11, and I handed him his earnest money back. So I'm very open, fair, and honest with what we do. So I don't hold customers to the fire, whether it's a new build or a resale. We do everything in our power to get that customer squared away, approved, and through and into that home. Just recently, as a side, one of our one of our lenders said, "I've never seen a company like Heartland who is willing to actually go out of their way to make sure that their customer gets the benefit of what they do." And that's what we stand on. So my cancellation rate comes from the higher interest rates. I can't get them qualified. Some of it's a change of heart, right? Everybody has customers that it's just I thought it was what I wanted, but I slept on it and decided it's not what I wanted, right? So quintessentially, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think we're back in 2018. Go pull the numbers from 2018. And that's what I'm telling my sales staff. 2018, we sold what we had, right? You know, we don't have a golf course. We don't have a big gated communities. We don't have those things, and that's okay. It's part of why we all live here. It's part of why you guys represent the area, right? You've been here for forever, and that's the way you like it, right? So we sell what we have. We sell the peace and quiet. I can't tell you how many customers I tell them, you're going to see stars that you haven't seen before, okay? My wife didn't want to live out here. Now she doesn't want to go to town.
Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll say this, Kevin, if you are giving people's money back, I commend you for that. I had a gentleman who had a VA loan. Interest rates changed, he lost his money and his house. So if you're doing that, I commend you for that. He passed away last week, brother.
And the appraisal was done.
He lost his house and he lost his loan because interest rate changed. And it's a builder here. So,
Next, Ms. Hilliard.
Good evening. Hillary Metz on behalf of CHL Holdings. Just a few questions as well. With the numbers that were provided by the Benesh study, the numbers that were ultimately supplied by Hendry County, which do not show the substantial growth in the next 10 years for students, how is that fee proportional and reasonably connected to the benefit of new residents? Because it appears really that a new school would be built mainly for the benefit of existing students. What is the plan to offset the loss of taxes and increased demand on services when people choose to build in Glades 101 and 102, but are still able to use the Hendry County services? We'd previously asked for clarification and numbers as to how the implications of the interlocutory agreement would be handled in that respect. Why is the land in Banyan Village that is already owned by the county and designated for a new school not going to be utilized for the new school versus now it appears the plan is to buy a totally new property somewhere else in LaBelle for a school? How is that being offset? Is that not correct?
That's not correct. Property was donated. And I'll answer some of these questions in a minute, because we got 4 developments coming in. That's Commissioner Swindle, Superintendent Swindle asked today, what kind of impact are these kids gonna have? One's 700, the other 3 are 200 to 250 homes apiece. They're building. So our schools are about to get hit. Every business is about to get hit.
The property that you're referring to that was donated, those, but that's not going to be used. We're still looking at going out and purchasing a new property. Is that what you're saying?
We met out there for ribbon cutting on the property with the school board. We were all in attendance. That property was donated. It was donated through the Hansons.
The new proposed site? Is that what you're saying?
New high school site.
Okay,
That is correct.
thanks.
With all these developments coming, we're gonna have impacts. 700 homes, do the math. If that's one person in each home, that's 700. If it's 2, that's 1,400. If it's one child, that's 700 kids. If it's 2 children, and again, you keep doing the math. These are all projects that we're looking at right now. They're actually in the projects. They're not paper projects. They're moving forward. We're trying to figure out how to get water and sewer to them. So they're coming.
Thank you. As far as the credits for impact fees for builders that are already existing, the county, will they be recognizing past monetary contributions, past land or equipment contributions that local builders have already donated or put towards the county?
Matt?
Yeah, it's addressed by the ordinance and the statute, but I don't, you and I'm happy to talk to you. That's not at a public meeting, if you have questions about that. But
Okay.
I will say that we're not gonna talk about, matters of legal consequence when there's been a threat of a lawsuit in a public meeting, just so you're aware.
Okay, I'm not threatening a lawsuit.
And I'd like to just say something else for the record for the school board. You know, those are questions for the school board. This board is not responsible for any decisions made by the Hendry County School Board.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
do we know if anybody has approached the school board to ask them any direct questions about, like, especially as it relates to enrollment, their need, their growth, where they're building schools, this, that, and the other? Has anybody, I haven't talked to any of the school board members, but have they been approached as well?
Staff requested the information after the last board meeting for the school enrollment figures, Ryan?
No, ma'am, that's not what I'm asking. What
Okay.
I'm saying is has the school board had people from the public come and engage them with regards to the impact fee discussion like we have had?
They did have public meetings. I did not attend. Did you attend their school board meetings?
I never saw any notices, and
They
I've
did
requested
have
those.
public meetings. The consultant went to the school board and to both
Yeah.
cities as well as the county prior to us getting to the point where we're at, and had a presentation just like she did for us based on detailed information on their specific calculations.
Have y'all had any conversation with school board members about impact fees or anything?
No, sir.
I have not.
The only questions that, what I stated a moment ago is the only questions I've had, and it came today. And it was requesting information on the homes being built, what that was directed from Superintendent Swindle. He's just asking the question, that's all.
The school board did adopt the study, however, just like you have adopted the
Yes, ma'am.
study.
Right.
Anything else?
That's all, thank you.
Thank you. Once again, this is a public meeting. Anyone from the public wish to speak at this time? Thank you so much.
Madam Chair.
Any comments or
Yeah, I'll make
remarks?
a comment. So I passed out prior to the meeting, a spreadsheet that I worked on, just to kind of give a breakdown based on the last 5 years. Carson, you weren't here when I passed it out, but
No, sir.
but it's there on your, on your diocese. But anyway, it reflects the last 5 years of the single-family home permits. I didn't go back to commercial or anything else. I just, related it to single-family homes. And I broke it down by transportation, EMS, corrections, law, and school. I broke it down at 25%, 35%, kind of like what Ryan did, but I kind of did a little bit more broad to see, based on the single-family home permits, what that dollar amount would have accumulated in a 5-year period. And then I indicated on the far right, what an impact fee amount would be per those categories. I did that just to give you guys an understanding to think about what's going to happen come August 29th, because when you look at the bottom, I put down there option 1 and option 2. Option 1 is not for the impact fee per se, but it's a cost for a water connection fee under the plus system, okay? On average, it's $4,018. A sewer connection fee is a flat fee, and it's $24.55. And I say that's a flat fee, and why the other one's an average is because based on certain lots that were assessed and had credits and so on and so forth, staff is telling me that the average number is $4,018. Option 2, which is more prominent, is because under our current infrastructure, there's very little sewer connections available, okay? That being said, it requires them to have a septic tank. Septic tanks a year ago were 10 grand, now they're 20 grand, okay, on average, okay? Rightfully so, that's gonna be built in to the cost of the home, but at the end of the day, you already heard Kevin, he's buying down rates, and even buying down rates and taking I don't remember exactly the number. What did you tell me, Kevin? 20 grand, 18 grand, something along those lines? In addition to taking a hit, look at the decline in permits that we're having. Now, these numbers that I have here do not reflect 2024 and that decline, but the trend's showing, it's coming. So you guys have heard me, meeting after meeting, talk about, yes?
When you're saying it's coming, you're saying the decline?
The
or-
decline.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's here and it's just gonna get worse,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
So you've heard me, meeting after meeting, complain about issues that, services that we provide within the Glades County community that we don't get. It's on the back of the taxpayers of Hendry County. So I'm telling you, my honest opinion, what's gonna happen, these builders, and I'm gonna call you out, Kevin. Kevin, do you have lots in Port LaBelle 101, 102? Okay. If you can't sell homes the way you're at now, and we're gonna add an additional fee, it's gonna come that they're gonna sit back and go, we're gonna build in 101, 102. Deputy Norwood, your people are still gonna go to 101 and 102 to give backup service to Glades County Sheriff's Department, and we're not gonna get compensated for that. I look at the risk of losing an ad valorem that's gonna be year after year versus a one-time fee. So I put those numbers together for you guys to evaluate that. So when we come back on August 29th and we make that decision, I know this is a long time coming, but we make the right decision. And I know that we paid a consultant to do something. I think inevitable, we're gonna have some type of impact fee, but we just gotta make a wise choice as to what that number is and what, is it gonna be a benefit, or is it, at the last meeting, somebody wrote down, they had said, we need to realize that the impact fee is exactly what it says, an impact. So is the impact gonna be only on the consumer, or is the impact also gonna be on the consumer and us? So I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yeah, with all that being said, Commissioner, looking at this as a board member, there is an impact. Now, did we miss out on that? Yeah, we did. You guys, it was a great awakening that we had in the last couple of years. Did we miss out? Yes. Are they gonna quit coming? No. The coasts are full. I just told you what's on is actually working right now to be built in Hendry County. One of them is in unincorporated Hendry County. It's gonna be out next to the Lee County line. They're looking at this stuff right now. This isn't stuff that we're gonna look at 10 years from now. So what we do is, we sit here and we say, you know what, they're gonna quit building in Hendry County. No, they're not. No, they're not. But they're not gonna sell a home for $400,000 either. Our people can't afford that. But I want you to know this, the people, as long as I'm up here, I'm gonna represent the people. And the ones that have lived here their entire life should not be paying for the impacts of the ones that are coming tomorrow. So impact fee, yes. I'm sitting here, I've got my mind on what I'm looking at, and I don't look like I'm backing up too much. I mean, you might be able to drag me a little bit, but I doubt it. So, I mean, we can have the conversation tonight. We're not adopting anything, but this is not a time we say, hey, you know what, we paid a consultant hundreds of thousands of dollars and we're gonna walk away from it. That doesn't make sense to me. Just had this conversation with the city of LaBelle, same thing. Are we going to have to make some hard decisions? Yes, we are, but that's why the people elected us up here to do that. It's gotta be, and none of this is personal. This gentleman, and I said a while ago, if he's doing that, I think it's amazing, because not everybody's doing that. You sewed a bunch of money into the kids, you bought tons of shoes and stuff. It's incredible. I commend that. That's great to give back. It really is. It isn't personal. I think he's a great person, but as looking at this, I still have to make those decisions. So it's nothing personal, nothing at all. It really isn't. Business is business, and that's what it is. Mine's going up. Everybody's is going up. So I think we really need to take a hard look at this. The information you guys gave me a totally different outlook. I'll say that. The last meeting, I went back, I looked at it, and I come back with a totally different outlook on it. So I appreciate the information. We just have to, it's gonna be tough, brother, but we gotta make some decisions.
But just keep in mind what you just said, that they're not that they're gonna come.
They're coming.
His numbers, the county's numbers are showing that they're declining.
Commissioner, we could argue this, but there's no sense in it. A lot of this is gonna change in November, and we all know that.
Let's hope.
Well, no, really, I can't provide the infrastructure now, so we gotta get caught up. You said a while ago, septic tanks are $20,000. Why are they on septics? Because we don't have the infrastructure in the ground for sewer. So we've got to keep that in mind. Every home we put on septic tanks, and you know as well as I do, they don't like that. Up in Tallahassee, get all your septic tanks out of here, get the sewer. We got a lot of work to do.
Any other comment?
Just remember, the impact fees aren't gonna go towards that kind of infrastructure.
It goes for capital, new infrastructure, not repairs. So, again, I'm looking at this from the outside. I don't have a dog in the fight other than the fact that I'm a Hendry County resident. I was elected to represent the Hendry County residents. I'm not buying or selling, I'm not building. I'm looking at this from the outside, trying to make the best decision I can for the people that put me in this chair.
You got a comment?
Madam Chair, you know, I served on the EDC a few years, more than a few years actually. I remember one of the angriest moments of my life of serving on the EDC was when an individual that claimed to be representing Hendry County made a comment about we don't have to make ourselves the most attractive, we just have to be more attractive than our neighbors. And then he dialed it in even tighter and said specifically, we have to be prettier than Glades County so that people come here and not go there. And that still to this day makes me irate, angry. I don't think that's the way we should be looking at this. And that is not, by the way, a veiled attempt to criticize what you're saying, Commissioner Iglesias, when you say we provide services in Glades County and we don't get anything for return. I appreciate you having that stance. I think that if we were to look, I would love to take the time to be able to go look at indigent care from the different zip codes as it relates to Hendry Regional Medical Center and how much the people that fund the county, the super funders, if you will, actually write that off. I mean, it's a frightening number. I remember I used to be dialed in on that when we looked at, you know, what doesn't go to Lakeside and what comes from Belglade, South Bay, Pahokee. You know, I think we had a large representation actually came up from Collier, and then we had a large representation that came south from Glades that would come to our hospital and use it as a general practitioner's office. And that's all money that gets burned. In talking with school board member Busen, she and Stephanie and I have a great relationship. Steph informed me that Glades County, and I can't confirm these numbers, but I think Stephanie is one of the best sources there is when it comes to educational data sets. And and I'd love to check this, she says that we've had 100 students leave Hendry County High School in just the beginning of this year and enroll in Glades County schools. And since the start, we were only 2 days into the school, is that right? So we had 100 more that went on day one, and then we had 11 more a couple days later or a day later that enrolled. If that's the case, that's frightening. Once again, that's an unintended consequence of things. The winds of change, however you want to look at that. But people are paying for a service here and then sending their most precious resource to go to a service over there that they're not funding, and Glades County is not turning them away. All of that being said, this impact fee discussion has been a long time coming. I think that every time it was brought up with the previous makeup of the board, Commissioner Harris and I kind of kicked it down the road, and I could be wrong, and I don't want to say specifically, but I'm pretty sure there were a couple board members that wanted to see it occur, and we kind of kept it at arm's length. Well, now here we are. The rubber's really meeting the road. I don't think that we were poor stewards of the county's taxpayers' monies whenever we called for the study. But I do think that we're at a time and place now where clearly the market has cooled off due to a lot of different variables. And I think that as we go forward with implementing some version of impact fees, which are going to be beneficial, the thing that I've challenged Ms. Davis to do is to quantifiably show staff, okay, if you're getting X number of dollars that are coming in that were not going to be available because they just simply didn't exist, where are you going to potentially reduce other numbers in your budget to have that offset so that is not essentially double dipping, if you will. We're trying to balance those ebbs and flows out. And I think the staff is doing that. I trust Shane to the nth degree. And Ms. Davis, that when they run these figures and when they run the daily operations of this county, they're going to be good fiscal stewards of these dollars that we're going to see. What we ultimately decide on, whether it's 50% or lower, I don't know. I don't think any of us are going to go 50% or higher, but I'm interested to hear exactly what y'all's thoughts are, and I think there's no time like the present to really drill in. There's nothing legally that prevents us from saying, if you were to put me to the vote tonight, I'm at 45% or I'm at 40% or 50%. We just simply can't make that decision. But I think it's time to kind of let that horse get out in the paddock area a little bit and lope around to get heated up so that we can start drilling in on what the specifics are going to be on this, and whether Commissioner Byrd, Commissioner Iglesias, so on and so forth, whether we're anti, and then we need to start adjusting that, because I think that's where we're at. Or is it time to say, hey, we think a majority of the 5 that are sitting up here are not going to want to see this happen at all. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I want to get a little bit more forthright in this conversation, so to speak.
Commissioner Turner, I do feel like the impact fee is needed. I do agree that those that's coming in need to be able to take care of their own, and that's what they're doing. However they want to figure it out, I don't feel like the people that's already here should carry that load. I think it's wrong. That's like me coming into your home, and I think when I run the water that it's going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. So if they come into the community or to the county, I do think the impact fee is needed. So I'm going to start off. If I had to make that decision, I would go somewhere between maybe 40%. I would start it off for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I do know, I believe 25 is too low. We always can go lower, but I would look at least 40%. That's where I would start it off at. But I do believe it's needed. Commissioner Howard?
Madam Chair, going back to my campaigning and 2 years ago, I can't count the number of folks, local folks, that asked the question, when are you going to produce impact fees and get this growth off of our backs? And that was consistent through that whole time of campaigning. I believe that our constituents want it, and they've personally been asking myself, just like Commissioner Wills. So with that in mind, I did some, I wanted to go back and look at the beginning of this, 2005. Look at a little bit of the history of this, and this was kind of interesting. I went back to 2005 when impact fees were implemented the first time. And so I started at 2006 after a time of being able to bring some dollars in. And I used the single-family detached garage as the metric throughout this whole thing. At that time, there was two other components that we don't have in this study. There was parks and government buildings. So I took those out, and I did apples for apples. At that time in 2006, that single-family detached garage would roughly equate to about $8,200 and some change. So now, when we look at our components that we have, apples for apples, same thing, same single-family detached garage at 50%, the required fee is going to be $8,700 and some change. So you're looking at almost 18 years, and we're looking at roughly $500 and some change more than we did the first time. And that said a lot to me. I heard some of the words was we were being frivolous and overreaching with what we're proposing with the impact fees. And I find that hard to believe over 18 years, and we're only looking at an increase of impact fee dollars at around $500. Then I took some time and took the exact numbers for that same single-family detached. In 2006, that component those components would be $8,246 that was adopted into 05. If you add the CPI averages from 2006 to 23, we should be asking for $12,483.90, but we're not.
Yes, sir.
So I don't believe that we're extravagant. I don't believe we're overreaching. I don't believe we're frivolous. I think we are getting really close to that number that is a very conservative number to fund the impacts that the growth is bringing here. And I also, I don't believe, we're in a cool down, obviously, with the raising of interest rates. That's going to cool any unfettered growth. So I do believe that we're looking at that, and I don't believe that that's going to hold. I know that there are folks from the coast that are wanting to get off the coast, and where they're coming, to the heartland. I don't see it slowing down to the point that impact fees would have been the death to that growth.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
So I really appreciate that, Commissioner Howard. That was very good homework.
Really was.
I went through the numbers Commissioner Iglesias shared. Basically, I was, where I'm at, where I drilled down on it, where I was at is, I broke it down. I wasn't happy with 45% of everything or 100% of everything. So I went through it, Commissioners, and when I looked at 45% on the transportation. I looked at 100% on both the EMS and law. That's where two of our struggles are. Schools, I did drop down to 25%. If they had the half cent sales tax, I'm looking at that, okay, well, they're picking their money up. I listened to what you guys said. So corrections, I went to 45%. So right now, without fire in mind, I'm at 62.12 is where I'm at. So that's a hard number what I'm looking at. I think, now I know that we're, that's under what, but when you add the fire in there, when I'm looking to land somewhere, it's around $7,500 is what I'm thinking is a fair number. So again, it's not a, by any means, but I think we gotta go somewhere.
It still runs about 40%, so that when you.
Well, when I broke it down, that's where I went, Madam Chair. So that's where I'm at. Everybody, you wanted a number, that's where I'm at on every category, Commissioner.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm good at on the second.
35.
No, on the second master fee schedule at 50% with transportation at 2,800, EMS 221, 386 for a total of 9536.
Across the board?
No, EMS, I think EMS corrections and law enforcement were at 100% there.
Okay.
And what were you on law and school? Law, you're at 100%. What about school?
The school was, refresh that one? Okay.
I think it's 50%.
I think, yes, it is. It's 50%. You're right. 50% for school and 50% for transportation.
Because we're struggling in law in the correctional center, so, let me see.
So that's where I'm landing.
We're around the same boat, Commissioner Howard. Like I said, the school for me went down because of that
So they have
sales
percent
entrance, yep.
impact.
And the correction went down because, I mean, that's, our biggest problem is in law enforcement. So that's where I landed, Commissioner. Thank you. I see Commissioner Glacier still crunching numbers, so he'll have something for us
No,
in a
I'm just
minute.
making notes, so I can think.
Yeah.
I'm a paper guy.
Yeah. I do believe EMS especially should stay at 100% because they're never going to achieve anything with anything less than that. And it was interesting too, looking back at '05, that component was together, EMS and fire, and it was $677.51. If you take them split them in half, EMS would have been $338.75. So we're still in a conservative lane.
Yes, sir. What about you, Commissioner?
I would be right there at that 50%, the one that
Oh,
you
wait.
all just said, and then keeping the fire, EMS, all of those.
At 100%?
Yes, ma'am. So that.
About 95
Yes, sir, 9536, 9,071 for America's Sweetest Town.
So you can put that in, Ryan? What it look like?
So, just out of curiosity, you can change the numbers,
You
Ryan?
can change them now and see what
So,
it look
so the
like.
question I have, commissioners on the school board, say we go 50% all the way across. Would you be objective to dropping the school down to at least 35%?
No,
See what that looks
no,
like?
I like
not.
your,
So you
I
got
like your,
45.
I like your idea on 25%, and let me tell you why. They are doing the half cent sales, and Commissioner Harris used to chastise us anytime we had a conversation about MSBUs or MSTUs, impact fees, and there was something else, franchise fees or something. But I'm gonna imitate him. Say what you want, but it's all a tax, And I mean, that was it. It's just y'all are trying to hammer the taxpayers. They can't do it, and so I think that's where we're at, and that half cent sales,
To make up some of the gap.
yeah.
So what would that be at 25%?
So I've got everything so I had transportation at 50%, EMS, correction, law at 100%, and schools at 25, correct?
That takes it to
That would put
2832.
your total for a single-family home at $6,621, and then Clewiston at $61.56, again, for that
That's without fire,
difference.
though, so we still have to
Without
put fire
fire,
in that.
correct.
And just shooting from the hip, a projection on fire and library. We can't, I can't speculate.
No, sir, I'm sorry.
So, again, that's,
I'm not doing it unless we do libraries, because I am so wore out with our inability to do anything from an infrastructure standpoint at all with the libraries. We have to engage that conversation.
I don't want to cut fire or library either one.
Absolutely.
No.
What would it look like at 35% on the school, Ryan? Just out of curiosity. What would the total be at there?
That would put you up to 7,754 for the county, and then 7,289
That's
for
what
Clewiston.
you were saying.
That's what I
You
was
know.
at. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I would be receptive to that 10% increase then off of that, just based off of the conversation that we've had here. I like that. 35% of the schools, Ms. Davis.
So we'll still have the fire and libraries in there, though, Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know if we go back to that 25 and leave that window open for those two, because at 25, we were at 60, 61, Ryan? Ryan, so y'all make up your
66.
mind. We're trying.
We were 66.
66, so that leaves us room on fire and libraries, gentlemen, on that, ladies.
Add a sale and put 25 and 35 over there, but rather than
Either way,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
So-
good either way.
see it.
I
Could've
thought I was
went
gonna be the high
90
one.
instead of 100. Could've went 90 instead of 100.
Ms.
Hey,
Davis
EMS
said,
and law,
Ms.
they
Davis
need
said,
it.
let's look at 30.
Y'all did 25, 35,
Oh, can we look at 30? Okay.
30, and what's,
Why can't we get a speculative number on the other
71.
two?
What's that?
Fire and library.
I don't know why that's so complicated.
What, Ryan, what do you have at 30?
So the question was
So I have
asked, why
school
is
at
it so-
30, and that puts us to $7,187 across the county, and then $6,722 for Clewiston.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
what is preventing us tonight from having,
speculating the.
yes,
the
ma'am, a
library
guess,
and,
a
We need
guesstimate?
we need a study to establish,
Because that wasn't part of.
it's not, they haven't completed that study yet, and it's gonna come back later when that study's complete.
Well, that was part of the initial, was it?
Library
Or we
was.
added it?
Put it in afterwards, I
it's-
think.
It was after the fact, yeah.
It was, but the Harlem Library was the only one included, and they did not include the city, so we had to add the city's name.
Okay, so we know where we at, or where we wanna be anyway, so is there any other discussion? So Ryan, you do have something to work with.
Ma'am, thank you.
Any other comments?
Madam Chair, I would request, Ryan, that you send us, you can either add, however you wanna do it, add the sales, I don't care, but 25, 30, and 35%, show it so that we can see that, and I'll have it in our inbox to be able to marinate
So
on
the other categories we're good on, and
I
then
think
show
s-
it 25, 30, and
it.
35.
Did everybody agree to that?
I'd like it better if transportation was at 25%.
Commissioner Iglesias, say, can you educate me on what you're saying, sir?
And tell me why?
Yeah, because in my district of Port LaBelle and Montura, I'm gonna get eaten up by people saying, I paid an impact for roads, and we do not, absolutely do not, they're not gonna maintain those roads.
No, Montero, we take care of Pinecone.
We got 4.1 miles in
Yeah.
Montura. There again, we cannot maintain those roads. So
be
Shane,
maintenance.
earlier we had the conversation about how the road impact fee, what you're gonna be able to utilize it for.
Well, I think if you take back to, you can be pro or anti the testimony, but I think Ms. Hitzman hit it on the head. How many years have you been paying out there? And, what is the county vested? The reality is nothing. We can't legally, it's not our fault, but at the same time, you can make an argument that Central County's received a heck of a lot of money, and what have they invested in their roads out there? So,
Road impact fees, if collected, would be used, like for Montura, you may have to do intersection improvements at their paved connections to 833, intersection improvements at 833 in Pinecone. There might have to be something done to improve intersection of Woodland and
Flaghole
Woodland
Road.
and Flaghole, maybe something at Flaghole and 80, I don't know.
what
It just
is
depends
the
on the track.
mechanism, though? So Henry County takes impact fees.
Right.
Love to play in the gray, right? And we go right in front of Mary Lou's, the main intersection, the main drag, and we fix our portion 833, and we get in on the apron 20, 30 feet in there. What SWAT team flies out of the helicopters and tranquilizes us for doing that? How does that work? And who knows? Who reports? What happens? Tell me.
833, if it works in the road right away, we do it. If they're gonna do work on their road right away, we would coordinate with them. If we had to do a tie-in, we'd coordinate with Central County to do that tie-in. We would just stop.
That's not what I'm
But
asking.
he's asking
What he
for,
asked?
This is,
who's gonna govern us to know that we did what we were supposed to do and we didn't?
Where does the right of way end and begin? How come Central County can't say, you know what? We're going to essentially give you an easement to say, we want this part dealt with, and it becomes ours in perpetuity. It's 100% is the example of our constituency base. And I go back to, we took all of the roads for tropical. We took all, they get them up to a level of service, and then
It'd
we
be the
take them
Board of
over.
County Commissioners taking over, accepting the deed or the ownership of those roads.
I don't think that's something that we ought to rule out, And I know y'all say, well, Commissioner, we don't have enough money to handle what we have already. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But we've done it in other areas. A precedent has been laid. So if we have an arterial, or whichever, I don't know which exactly vernacular that would be for some of those roads, where there are massive failings that are occurring, or extreme dangerous situations for ingress and egress, I think it's something that ought to be engaged in a conversation, Just a thought, Shane, sitting out there. Because if it's as simple as us taking over 50 feet or 100 feet of width,
They're not gonna care.
they're
No,
going to give that
they
to
won't
us
care.
free. It's fee simple.
So in other words, get creative.
Yeah,
It
and then
can't
in
free.
Port LaBelle, you're looking at probably intersection improvements where DOT funding might not come into play, such as Cowboy Way, 4-way drive, you got a skewed intersection, it's gonna go to a park. You got, future 4-lane, Helms Road is shown to go 4 lanes all the way through from 29 to 4-way drive. You'll have, all those homes will require probably the widening of Cowboy Way in the future. It could be intersection improvements at the various main roads, Collinswood, Birchwood, Cedarwood.
Madam Chair, the examples, see, he's already taken it and running with it, right? And so what I challenge you all to do, because this is a selling point. Y'all, when we did impact fees the last time, we wrote a check back to Lennar Homes. We gave them money back, hard currency, out of an account because we didn't use the dollars and cents. We can't make that mistake again. So I think that it's better if we go to a Flaghole community and say, well, Flaghole's an easy one because we got all those, all of Kilpatrick, all that, that's us. So we go to a Monterey Clubhouse and we say,
But you can't maintain those roads.
you can't maintain, I didn't say maintain them.
Can improve them.
But we can improve them, Jack. And if it's a main thoroughfare that hasn't been touched in my lifetime, okay, you're a wee bit older than me, in your lifetime, then it's time to step up.
Watch it.
You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying there. Because there's some stuff out there, dilapidated ain't the word.
So let's touch base on that. So he brought up Kilpatrick.
Kilpatrick?
Can't do it. You
Said
can't.
Blackhole can't use impact fees on local roads for transportation. Can't use them to pave an existing road. That'd be a local road. It's gotta be
Understood.
for
That's the
capacity. It's for
Understood.
capacity.
But if you're increasing capacity. then
Increasing
yes.
capacity. If you have a 2-lane road and it's rock or a 2-lane paved, doesn't increase capacity. It's about adding a turn lane to be able to improve intersection flow capacity or adding additional travel lanes on a road.
There is some improvement that could be done with the impact fee fund.
There is impact fee improvements to be done. It can be used for land acquisition, design, but it all has to be used toward expansion of the roadway or
Madam Chair,
capacity.
so we
You have
can,
your homework cut out for you then, right?
You
Okay,
get the money,
thank
then
you.
yeah, but,
So we
but you
can-
have to, we're formulating where we think there may be a need, but we don't know until the homes show up in that particular location where the need's gonna be.
I think we already got a need. Well, what about Cowboy Way, 4-lane all the way out to 80, because we can't get into schools now.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
And or just a center lane put in
It can't-
yesterday.
Something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got places to
Yeah,
spend the
there
money. It ain't gonna be writing no checks back.
Not hard.
So, I'm not 25%, I ain't about that. I mean, I'll do this, I would say I'd go to 35, but then I'm gonna take away from corrections, I'm gonna drop down to 45 on that.
Y'all are making my head hurt right now.
I'm telling you.
I don't understand.
Well, I don't wanna drop on the transportation, I don't. We have a lot of stuff needs to be done.
But what'd you say you wanted to go on transportation?
25.
Originally 25, but I'd go to 35 and go to 45 on corrections.
Sold.
Okay.
45 on correction. You just flipped out.
No, that's your jail. He just wants to, y'all ain't getting no new jail.
No.
We're not trying to do a new
We need
jail.
federal dollars to build a new jail. Because the
You ain't
impact
gonna catch me
fee's not
speeding
gonna
on the
do
way
it.
home either.
But you keep the law enforcement at home.
Charles
Yeah,
Chapman
100%
wanted,
on law, yes.
Charles Chapman wanted a new jail and a new parking lot. It was only like 60 million. So,
As long as we keep 100% at the law
So
enforcement.
I'm good with that, Commissioner Iglesias.
So let's go
and a
back.
new courthouse.
20 or 35 on roads,
Yeah,
on transportation, 100 on EMS,
yeah,
45 on corrections,
yeah. 100 on.
100 on law, and 25 on schools.
What say
30
you, Commissioner
30 on
Iglesias?
school.
Right.
100.
So
Now,
are
what
we
you
gonna
just
go
said,
with 25 or 30 on schools?
30, you
30.
said
All right,
30.
so 30 on schools would give us a total of $6,135, and then Clueston would be $5,670.
I'm still on my number where I was at. Once we add fire and everything to it, Commissioners, we're gonna probably be around that 7 to 7,500. Did you hit all right?
I dig it, man.
Well, look, again, we have to come somewhere. And that road right now, Cowboy Way, go over there and try to go through there. If somebody in Port LaBelle has a heart attack and I gotta get to them down Cowboy Way right now, they're gonna die. 'Cause they can't get through there. They're packed up on both sides of the road, they're stacked up, there's country oaks. If they gotta go to Country Village, they ain't gonna get in there.
Hey,
'Cause that road's covered up too. So we got road work that needs to happen around all of our schools over there.
Commissioner Wills, do y'all anecdotally correlate that back to just the growth in Port LaBelle and that's it? There's just such that much more mass of humanity coming through there.
That's the whole point, them schools are full.
Yeah,
Even when there's no school, it's bad.
yeah.
But when
But it's not
school's
all
in,
Porter Bell, no.
no, when school's in, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
I've had constituents asking me, why can't you get the sheriff's department to direct traffic at Bridge Street and Main Street on Cowboy Way?
You tell them the sheriff don't have any competition.
We had that conversation.
Man, you know, you're on
Y'all
YouTube,
wrong.
man.
I love Steve Wood.
No, that's just reality, so.
Okay.
Yes.
He's getting it
And
done.
I know y'all are just talking, and we know we have needs, but impact fees are for future growth
Yes, ma'am.
that we can,
Yes,
But I
understand
still
that.
go back to that initial comment of, it gives you more tools in the toolbox to be able to
right.
move the shells, so to speak.
Yes, sir, it
You know,
does. It does.
Well, in the meantime, can we put more millions on the side of Cowboy Way?
You gotta get a permit.
Commissioner Harris
The
gonna be
permit
mad,
right there.
Jennifer, Commissioner Harris is gonna be mad.
Harris, he
I'm
wouldn't
not
mind the
calling
millions.
them.
You're not calling him?
Yeah,
not calling
I'll get, the phone will be ringing by the time I get home.
Absolutely.
I think it's been a good conversation,
Yes.
commissioners, and I think we
Yes.
all, we're none of us are way out in left field, so we gotta come up with something, and at least tonight, we got an idea where everybody's
Yeah,
kinda sitting at.
I can't stand talking in, kind ofs, and then no formal decision being made. And I understand it's essentially a workshop discussion as it relates to this, but I like giving finite details to it, and then we'll adjust from there.
Yeah, I appreciate, I think we have been extremely conservative with this. And at the same time, if somebody decides to break the economy as a whole, we always can put the brakes on if we have to. We have that ability.
Right. We can always pause them.
Yes.
So everybody,
When you make the final decision, Matt Rogers and County Attorney for the record, when you make the decision, I also like to add a date certain. For instance, we're required to get 90 days before it becomes effective if you decide to adopt an impact fee ordinance. So for instance, if we did it then, it would be, I think an even number would be like, you say December 1st is the
Yeah.
effective date, or whatever that date may be. At least 90 days after the date you vote.
Well, Mr. Rollerson, in my opinion on that is when we get these voted through, that we need to push forward immediately. I don't want to put that off after the study's completed, we come to a number. I'd like to see that, in that 90 days started.
We're talking about, if you go from, November 28th or 27th to December 1st, I just, for staff's sake, and I think what's gonna happen with the permits but that's just your decision.
Yeah, again, that's where I'm at. I'd like to see them, that 90-day period start. I guess I ain't getting a card from you, brother. But anyhow, I think it's a good conversation. Thank you, commissioners. Commissioner Iglesias, thank you for the information you brought as well.
anything else, any other comments concerning the impact fee?
Mr. Rowdy, I really appreciate as well the details that you shared, going back a historical perspective. That's awesome.
It was very good.
Appreciate it.
All right then, so we're gonna move right along, coming to Shane. Airport.
Good on this one.
Just seeking board approval of Second Amendment to the commercial lease with
Motion
Shortcakes.
to approve.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wells, second by Commissioner Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion stands.
We ain't gonna mess up that breakfast spot.
Is there any other old business?
Jimmy.
That's the spot.
Yeah. I know, right? Okay, Mrs. Davis, you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
on old business, can y'all give us an update on, I don't know if the wheels are moving or not, but what month was it that we discussed the automatic camera system for speeders / violators in the school zone, and how's that moving forward?
They want the permit, so we're moving on it.
Yeah, we passed the authorizing ordinance. I don't know, my understanding is the vendor's proceeding, where they can. I reached out to the city. I don't know if the city's already authorized it or passed that ordinance as well, but I did reach out to the city attorney and mentioned that he said he would bring it up to the board.
They've requested permits, and I don't know if they have with the county yet or not, but through the city, they have requested permits, so. They have? They have. Yeah, they did the city's also.
So when do we anticipate it'll be working?
I don't know either.
I'm dying to see their data.
It requires some kind of a notice period. They have to advertise and let people know. There's a 30-day, I think, period where they gotta let the public know that they're doing it before they start issuing. So I think they get warnings
So it'll
during
be
that
second
period.
semester.
Before they start issuing tickets, yeah.
Do you know when it's gonna, when they're planning on implementing it?
The sheriff's office
Yeah.
is ready, it's up through y'all. The vendor, I believe, is ready.
Well,
But
we-
there is a 30-day warning period when they, or 30 days before the fine.
Okay, Bob.
Bob Pastula for the record. I've been in on all the meetings. The vendor has purchased all the signs and they've gotten all the permits from the city of Clewiston as well. The only holdback was working with the county and the county schools in the Port LaBelle area. But everything seems to be on track. They've got all the permission from FP&L, and everything has been ordered, and it's at a warehouse near Orlando, I think in Sanford. So they're just waiting to put that in. So they're hoping to have everything in. Last I talked to them, which was last week, I believe they said they'd have it in by November.
That's great. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you
Ms.
so
Bob.
much. Once again, this is a public meeting. Anyone from the public wishes to speak at this time? Thank you so much. We're gonna go by district. Commissioner Iglesias.
I don't have anything.
Wow, scared. Commissioner Howard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Shane, I have been getting a lot of texts and phone calls about where we are with the Second Bridge FDOT road improvements to Cowboy Way to the Glades County line, where we stand. It seems like things have gone silent.
I think it was the last public meeting was January 31st, sometime in January. And the DOT extended the timeout to complete the study, and it's early 2025. They don't have a date. They're evaluating all the scenarios. And I asked them they had a pinpoint date, and they said, no, it's still early 2025. So I don't even know exactly what they're finalizing as the final scenario to present.
They're entertaining a bypass.
That they are, and they have that and that's funded in the 5-year work program, and the Secretary of District 1 promised that, and that is in the 5-year plan.
So what kind of delay does that put on it, do you know?
Not for this study, it's not supposed to delay it. That was something that was promised, and then they'll look at that, moving in tandem. But they got a design consultant already picked for this project, but they're the ones that's working on the PD&E reevaluation. That's who you've been seeing at the meetings with DOT.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Wells.
I just want to, staff there's a lot of stuff we put on you guys, and we appreciate every one of you. The stuff that you're taking care of, Tommy, with all that aggravation you have with the dadgum code enforcement we throw on you. I've got a lot of compliments in the past month about the work that you've done with that. The people in Wheeler have been very excited about the stuff that's going on. They've appreciated the visits that they've gotten, so I want to thank you on that. Shane, thank you for hooking up Felda on the drainage. That's something they were pretty excited to know the machine was coming. Now they got 2. So I do appreciate that. We have school started back, as Commissioner Turner pointed out. So I think it's very important that we're aware of young drivers. We got a lot of young people on the highway that's never been on the highway. We have a lot of people that's been driving, they have cell phones, and now the younger ones are driving with a cell phone. So we need to be aware of things like that, be aware of your surroundings. We need to work with the school board to try to help this school year go smoothly. I saw, Commissioner, you guys delivered a bunch of stuff to the teachers. I thought that was great. They don't get recognized a lot.
No, they don't.
And Commissioner, Superintendent Swindle's done a great job of that. So I think along with our staff, that staff, and the work that they do is greatly appreciated, and all y'all usually hears the complaints. So I just want to say thank you, even you, Jimmy. Y'all do an amazing job. We appreciate y'all very much. Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Turner.
Madam Chair, I'm good to go. Other than Tiger football starts on Thursday night, we're playing the Glades Day Gators. Going to be scary over there in Belglade. I just hope that we can get through this season unscathed. It's going to be a tough one. I was not anticipating to call any of the games on the radio this season, but Tyler Clemens and Miss Casey asked me to please help out, so I'm going to do it sporadically as my schedule permits. I'm definitely going to do the month of August, but it's been a blast doing that, and I'm ready to let someone else take that torch and run with it a little bit, but it's tough finding somebody. So.
The numbers are growing though.
Say again now?
Their numbers are growing.
Their numbers are
Their
growing, I
numbers are
hope.
growing, so, you
We've
know.
lost a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And so,
So,
it's just, you know, all those odd growth patterns that we're going through here locally. So, but really that's no relevance to this board. I think that this was a great discussion as it relates to impact fees tonight. And I really appreciate how we all, you know, do our different little areas. Commissioner Iglesias, you're absolutely magnificent of bringing data sets like this to us routinely on different things throughout the county, and I really appreciate that. So, yeah, this is awesome. Thank y'all.
thank you. Like to thank staff. I tell you, Mr. Harrison taught me a few things, so thank you, Shane, and thank you, can't even say his name, Jesus. Thank you, Tommy.
Man, really?
Yeah, I couldn't even say his name, much as I aggravate him.
That's why I'm his favorite commissioner, because
That's
I
right.
never forgot his name.
It's all right, because I hook up with his wife, so I know how to get what I need. So thank you so much. I appreciate all the work you guys have put into the community. It looks so good, so I want to say thank you. You know, everybody they want it clean, but they get upset when you have to tag them, but it's been a good tag. So I just want to let you know I appreciate you. So Shane, Mr. Harrison told me to make sure I let you know about my next set of sidewalks that's coming into the community. And Tommy, thank you for getting the pool up and running. Our senior citizens appreciate that because they have exercise and you made it happen. So, but thank you. I'm very excited about Harlem Academy daycare, what's coming. So I really appreciate all the work that was put into it. It was a long time coming and people just don't realize the process, but I appreciate you all for everything that you've done to make it happen. If there's nothing else